All right, we're going to get going now. I am Alan Whitehouse, and I am with TrueSky, and I'm going to be giving the presentation today, talking a little bit about revenue forecasting with TrueSky. Before we get going too far into it, I'm going to go back one slide here and talk a little bit about some housekeeping stuff. So first of all, just so you know, if you have any questions during the time, well, a couple things. One, your phones are on mute right now, so that's to keep background noise down and everything else. If you have a question, type it into the GoToMeeting question or chat box, and then we will answer those towards the end. If you're having a technical problem, go ahead and do the same thing, and someone is monitoring this and will try to help you. When you exit, please use the survey. Take a moment just to fill out the survey at the very end. And then that really helps us do a little bit better on this. And again, we will be taking questions at the end of the presentation. So talk a little bit about revenue forecasting with TrueSky, and some of this I'm going to set up a little bit over the next 30 minutes is some general stuff about budgeting and forecasting in total, whether it is revenue, whether it's expenses, whether it's compensation, what have you. I'm going to talk about some of the big picture items, and then I will focus after that on specifically revenue forecasting and some of those. So why should you consider an application like TrueSky? Well, at the end of the day, we're going to allow your business to focus on the high value items of the budget and the forecast, right? Getting that information out that you need to make business decisions rather than on the whole drudgery that deals with preparing the budget. And really, we do that for, if you want to think about it, three kind of main user groups within the organization: contributors, the finance group, and the decision makers. And I'm going to talk about each of these as we go forward. So when we're talking about contributors, really what the value is that we add to the process is we help reduce the effort and amount of time it takes to get a budget or a forecast. And again, I'll use those terms a little interchangeably when we're talking sales versus whatever else, but it's kind of all the same concept, right? So we're going to help reduce the effort and time it takes to get into the budget. When it comes to the finance or the accounting group, whatever term you'd like to use, we're going to minimize the administration effort that it takes to do a budget or a forecast. And at the same time, we are going to increase the quality of the numbers that you get from your people. And then the final kind of group that we help here with TrueSky are what we call decision makers. And really what we're going to provide to decision makers is hopefully not just raw numbers, but meaningful information that's going to reduce risk and help avoid surprises as you go forward and finish off the budget. So what were some of the key pillars behind TrueSky as we develop the application? Well, first of those is we're going to leverage Excel as the end user interface. And there's a lot of reasons why we're going to do that. And I'll talk a little bit about that. Now, we also help empower the finance group. That's another one of our key pillars. And we facilitate knowledge. All right, so those are kind of the three pillars. I'm going to talk a little bit about those. So why do we want to leverage Excel as the end user interface for TrueSky? Well, Excel is a very, very powerful tool. It's flexible. You know, you've all used it. You can model pretty much any process with it. It allows you to do powerful calculations. It has a rich presentation layer, and in your organization, odds are it has a very high user adoption. Now, before you push back on me, because you're probably using Excel today, we do acknowledge that Excel by itself for a budgeting and forecasting application, especially in the enterprise, is not perfect, right? It's not a database. Everything's stored within the worksheets themselves. There's a lot of setup that has to happen. A lot of work when it comes to consolidations. You don't have any kind of built-in workflow. There's no audit trails. You don't have version control, and there's a lot of errors that can happen. In fact, errors are probably one of the biggest problems behind using Excel just by itself. In fact, 90%, some studies have shown, of all spreadsheets contain errors. In fact, one of those major ones, just looking at the screen here, JP Morgan, they had a $6 billion trading loss due to a copy and paste error. So next time you think when you're off by a couple $100, that's bad, you know, you could have at least been in JP Morgan's shoes. But again, we realize all of that. So those are the kind of things that TrueSky we're going to take care of, and you're going to see that as we go forward. Now, one of our other pillars empowering the finance group. Well, how do we do that? Whether it be the finance group or the operations group or whoever the organization in the organization is that's consuming the data, we're going to give you centralized data. So unlike storing data in the Excel worksheets, everything we do in TrueSky is stored in a centralized database. We provide things like audit trails. So again, you always know how your numbers got to where they're going to be. We provide data and application security, things that you don't necessarily have in Excel by itself. We're going to give you real-time data merging. So no more of all those interlinked formulas and spreadsheets and trying to bring back a merged thing. We're going to give you direct integration to your different data sources. You know, the application that it is going to promote accountability. And one of the great things about what we do is our build once design, which allows you to create an input or a template for either input or reporting, build it once, and then when you deploy it out to say 100 users, it automatically and by itself renders itself for that particular user and what they're allowed to see and to work with. So we're dramatically cutting down your administration and your effort and all the problems that go along with using Excel. And we also help facilitate knowledge. Again, centralized data gets all of that information into one place. We allow you to easily roll this out to more and more people, to allow you to capture qualitative and quantitative data, and to do some deep dive analytics. And we're going to show you that as we go forward. So what are some of the kind of things, other things that you can do with TrueSky? Well, pretty much not just revenue, which is what we're going to focus on today, but any kind of financial budgeting, compensation, expenses, operational stuff, CapEx, project, all of that's available along with sales and revenue forecasting. But also when it comes to reporting and dashboarding, you know, full income statements, any kind of sales reports, project reports, and dashboards are all available within the TrueSky world. All right, so with that, I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to show you a little bit of our application. Now, for the next couple of minutes, just bear with me. I'm going to show you some stuff that's not necessarily revenue specific. I'm just going to highlight some high-level features that are available throughout the application, and then I'm going to get into some revenue-specific stuff. So what I'm going to start you with is some stuff that's really around more things like expenses, but it's going to show you global stuff, and then we'll get into revenue. So things that we provide, again, with the TrueSky environment, the ability to tailor the application to the individual user. So as an example here under the annual budget cycle, you see I have assignments. Those are my input sheets. And I have 4 things that I have to work on: admin expenses, travel expenses, sales revenue, and project revenue. And for reports, I have a couple different budget versus actuals and a couple different financial statements. This is what I see when I log in to the organization. If another user logs in, they will see something completely different. Again, thanks to our build once kind of methodology, everything that we do renders itself specifically to the individual user based on their security settings and what has been published by an administrator. So somebody else logs in, you know what, maybe they only see sales revenue and nothing else. Other things that we provide: start and end dates of the budget. So again, whether you're doing sales, you know, forecasting, expenses, compensation, whatever the case may be, you get to control when people can start entering data into the system. And more importantly, when you think that budget or forecast should be finalized, you can lock them out of making any future changes. So once you go to the board of directors, as an example, to get approval, guess what? No more surprise changes that happening. We also have a workflow approval engine built into TrueSky that allows you to route your numbers through various levels of approval. And again, that can be configured to you. So as you add more and more people to the application to get more and more people's input, people that are closer to the action, so to speak, great, you can route your numbers through various levels of approval. Now I'm going to open up an input sheet here. This first one, expenses. Again, like I said, then I'll go to revenue and talk about some of the things that we do. And again, these are global features that you'll see even in the revenue thing, but I can highlight them here a little bit better in this environment. First of all, first tab, instructions. People aren't doing budgeting or forecasting every day, so we want to make sure they can, you know, get some feedback as to what they're supposed to do, deadlines, any kind of guidance that you're giving them and all that. But the bulk of what I'm going to do is going to be on this tab, the input. These are my filters, my slicers, my dimension. So in this example, I've got a slicer for department, location, version, and currency, because we support multiple currency budgeting as well. Your slicers are going to be completely different. When we switch over to revenue, as an example, you're going to see slicers for customer and for product. So again, depending on the business process that you're modeling, you'll have different slicers. Now, these slicers, such as department, will be automatically fed from whatever your host data system is. So if we integrate to, say, your ERP system or your CRM system or your inventory management system or your sales system, whatever the case may be, we will pull that data in automatically. So if you add a new department, a new customer, a new product, TrueSky will pick it up automatically without you having to manually maintain two different systems. In addition, lists like this, like what departments I can work with, are controlled through the security model. So again, I can roll this out to 100 different people, but different people will see different things in these lists depending on what they are allowed to see and to work with. So I'm going to pull back data for my admin department for the Toronto HQ, and now it's making a call out to the system and bringing back the most up-to-date data that I have in the system. Now I'm going to close this down here a little bit. Now a couple things that you should always keep in mind. What I'm seeing on screen, what you see on screen right now, what's on rows, what's on columns, completely configurable for you and your deployment. I'm only budgeting 3 months at a time, but obviously we support budgeting more periods at that. I'm just doing this because of real estate. I'm budgeting monthly, but we also support daily, weekly, quarterly, and yearly. This screen right here shows dollar capture, but as you see when we go to revenue, we also support driver-based budgeting. You know, entering in dollars or units and rates, and then having that number calculated for you so you can capture things like sales quantities as well. From an end user point of view, when it comes time to start working with it, I can just type in numbers like I can in Excel. So the user adoption goes very, very quickly. I have things like copy paste like I have in Excel, that click and drag. And again, the formula that I'm typing in is a true Excel formula, not Excel-like. So especially if you're doing things like revenue forecasting or product planning, if you want to use some of the more esoteric formulas that Excel offers, like standard deviations and so forth like that, to do your forecasting, great, that's all available to you to help get you better quality numbers. And like everything throughout TrueSky, the moment I hit save, my numbers are saved to the backend database where they're instantly available to anyone else to work with those numbers in real time. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of the things that we've added to the system that take us to the next level. First of those, complete audit trails. So anytime a number is changed in TrueSky, we track what was the change, who was the user, date and time that it was changed, and what was the business process. And if you like a earlier number better, you can actually copy those numbers back. Again, no finger pointing, getting everyone on the same page, making sure everyone's looking at the same thing. We give you the ability to add notes and commentary to your numbers. And again, unlike Excel notes, our commentary travels with the numbers. So this is how we make budgeting and forecasting more collaborative, right? Everything's in one place. I can actually explain why I need a new printer in this example. If we're doing sales revenue, why these sales to this customer are going to drop off or what have you. You can also attach electronic documents, so copies of business cases in Word or any other kind of thing, sales quotes going out to customers, you can attach here as well. So again, the whole concept of TrueSky is to consolidate all of your information into one central place. We give you a series of data tools. So these are tools that allow you to get your data in and out quicker. So if I wanted to spread my numbers, if I knew how many I was going to spend for the whole year, instead of going cell by cell, I can type this in here and I'm going to choose even. And now when I hit replace, it allocated that 30,000 on the same ratio. But maybe you've got certain trending because you've got seasonality to your business, right? You can actually build those kind of rules into TrueSky as well. So here when I hit that, you'll see it allocates more to January and less to February and to March. Or maybe I want to base this year's trending on last year's trending, right? So this could be, instead of dollars, this could be the units, number of units that a customer purchased last year. So right now, you see how this goes low, high, low. I come back here and I want to base that on actuals, and now I hit replace. It allocated that 30,000 on the same ratio. I can also use this to make bulk changes, right? So if you look at what somebody spent last year, I can come in here, put in some budget numbers, and now I want to just basically increase this by 23.5%. And I can decrease it that way. Or if I want to do some bulk changes, I can increase everything here by 1,000. So again, the goal is to give you rapid changes. All right. Final thing I'm going to show you this, and then I'll launch over into revenue forecasting, is our ability to drill back down to source data. So A lot of applications talk about they have drill down. And really what that means is they can open up another report and you can get more information that's in their database. Well, our drill downs allow you to go back to source data in real time. So this could be data that is in your ERP system, your accounting system. It could be data that is if you've got your own order entry system, it's there. If you've got a warehouse management system, it could be data in there. If you have, we're talking sales, if you have a CRM system, it could be data that's in your CRM system potentially, right? For when you're doing these drill downs. But in this example here, if I wanted to figure out what I'm going to spend $148,000 on, instead of me bugging the accounting group, I'm going to make this direct call. And in this example, it's going back to show me all my purchasing transactions that I have in the system. And right here, I'm getting all the information I need at my fingertips to make business decisions, seeing exactly what I've spent my money on without having to bug someone in the accounting and finance group. And again, the columns that we have up on screen here are changeable by business process and what you want to expose. But now I can start doing this analysis. So what is my total amount? So I'm going to sort it lowest to highest, or highest to lowest. Or you know what? Maybe just show me what my top 10 purchases were. And what was the total of my top 10 purchases? $19,000. Well, great. That's one view right there. But you know what? Maybe I want to clear that off. But maybe now I want to start grouping it by, say, account description. Or if this was customers, I want to group it by, you know, state or province, the sales that, or if it's product, group it by product line, whatever the case may be. And now I can see things like supplies, hardware. This is what I spent money on. But I also want to pull in the vendor here, right? And now you can see things, mobile warehouse as an example, right? I purchased a tablet, but it got booked to my software account. So helping you do this analysis about where did my numbers come from, or this is booked to the wrong thing. Again, getting everyone everything they need, information at their fingertips. All right, so those are a pretty much overview of all our global type features, and there's a whole lot more we do, but that gives you kind of an overview. But now I'm gonna go back in and show you some very specific revenue type forecasting. Okay, so I'm going to focus on sales revenue, more product sales, more customer sales, but know that if maybe you are a service-based organization, we can also support project type revenue as well. So again, it doesn't just have to be product or customer level stuff. We support different types of revenue models. This is just going to show you a lot of different things here. So same kind of concept. I'm going in, it's rendering a template specifically for me and what I am allowed to see and to work with. So first thing I'm going to show you is just at a customer type level. And again, all of these can be configured to your organization and what you need it to see and to work with. So I'm going to click my bus here. Now, instead of bringing back all of my customers, right, I have the ability to also do things like group customers and only bring back customers based on a particular group. So in this example, I have grouped them by state and province, okay? And when I pick, in this example, British Columbia, it will only bring back those customers that are in British Columbia. However, you could have different kind of filters. I could bring back all my customers. I could bring back customers that are retail versus wholesale, that are small, medium, large, you know, whatever your kind of setup is, you've got different ways to slice and dice this data. Again, this is what allows you to create something once and then roll it out to your people who have this great interactivity without you having to create 1,000 different things. So right now I've made my decision to go to British Columbia, and what it's going out is bringing me back all of the customers that are related to British Columbia. Now, the other thing that I haven't really hit on, I have security here. So if there are certain customers that I shouldn't see because of security, they won't even appear in this list for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and close my filter pane for a second. Now this again is dollar capture. I'm gonna show you some driver capture here in a little bit. But you can see in this example, I'm showing a mix of wholesale versus retail customers here, and I'm typing in what is my value here. And now again, we've used some different features that we've got with shading and thing to kind of allow people to get a visual clue. Like one, the wholesale customers are showing up in purple, whereas the retail shows up in black, just to kind of highlight things a little bit. We're also giving them some real-time feedback up above using some visualization things to kind of show them what the breakdown is between these different things. And if I was to type in here, instead, this is gonna be 1,000 right here. I'm gonna put a really, really large number in here. You'll kind of see how that, probably even too big to actually recognize. There we go. Now you can see how those numbers work. So again, giving your people visual clues as they're going through the process to try to see how are their breakdowns, do they make sense and so forth. Then again, totals both for the, you know, the month as for the customer, so you can see what you're doing. And again, on all of these kind of things, I can do the same kind of stuff I was doing before in Excel. I can say, you know what, I think our first one's going to be 1,000, but now is equal to 1,000 times 1.10. So I can start leveraging this great functionality of Excel and then grow it as an example by 10% every month to see where I'm going to be at. So again, leveraging all of that great function to get your numbers in and out quicker. All right, so that's sales by customer. I'll open up my filter here again. Oh, sorry, minimize that a little bit too much. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you kind of a product sales. And again, these are just two different examples, and I'll show you, by product, by customer, right? So similar to what was above, as opposed to state or province, and actually I'm going to go with this one instead. I'm showing it by product classification, right? So this example is bicycles, right? Road bikes as an example. So instead of pulling back everything, I'm going to pull all this back. And again, now it's finding all of those road bikes, or everything that falls under a road bike, and bringing it up here. Now, you can see we can choose to display different pieces of information. So I'm choosing to show both the product name and the SKU number, right? This could also be catalog numbers, any other data that we've got in. And again, as opposed to earlier when I was doing 12 months, I'm doing just quarterly at this point. But here, what I've set up is I can, as a user, I can put in different quantities that I'm going to enter. But if you look over here, the unit price, I can't edit that. So even within the TrueSky environment, you have the ability when you roll things out to people to determine what they're allowed to edit. So you may decide you're going to roll this all out to your salespeople to get a sales forecast. The salespeople get to control the quantities, but you know what? You don't want them playing with the unit price. Maybe unit price is set by your marketing department or some other factor, right? So this is going to be maintained centrally, but you're going to then let them just adjust these numbers. And as you can see, at the end of the day, I'm capturing both quantity and unit price. And again, these are important things to know for figuring out margin. Quantity may be if you're also a manufacturer, trying to figure out how many do you have to manufacture, so knowing the quantity is important. And then these sales amounts, these will map up to your financial models. So again, these probably map to different revenue lines, whether it be based by location or product group, right? These will then map to different lines in your GL for when you want to do like an income statement, as an example. So that kind of gives you the idea of a one product. Now I'm going to give you another kind of example of what we do here as well. And I'm going to show you by customer and product. Now, here's the thing where you can select, again, a different customer and a different group of products, right? Or bring back all the products. Now I'm going to redo this. Now, one of the other things that we support is you can even configure TrueSky. If you're doing things like this with customer product sales two at the same time, you can set up TrueSky that when you pick a particular customer, only the products that you allow them to purchase are available. So maybe you have specific customers per product and you don't want customer A purchasing product B that they shouldn't be able to do. Or in order to lower down these lists, you only want to have your people budgeting to the products that this customer has purchased in the past. So again, those are all options and things you can do within TrueSky. Now you can see in this example, I have allowed them to not only put in quantities, but also to put in the unit price. So in this example, they can affect both, but the sales amount, it's automatically being calculated for them. So again, depending on what your goals are, how you want things to interact, we have that capability. Final thing I'll show you is, again, often goes along with this, is maybe all you really care about is trying to get revenue by salesperson. So in this example, I'm going to bring back all the salespersons based on a couple different sales managers. And here's what I can do is I can put in a sales forecast by a salesperson. And at the end of the day, how you deploy TrueSky is whatever you need to do to drive your business. So here I'm seeing what their current quotas are and then being able to put in different forecasts. So that's all available. Now, really quickly, I'm just going to show you a little bit about project stuff. So again, in case you're a professional services firm, you know that we've got something like that covered for revenue. And again, there's a lot of other scenarios that we handle for revenue as well. So a couple things that I really want to point out here is, again, a lot of flexibility in how you do it. So being able to, as an example, select a client here and either a particular project or everything else, and put in things like specific rates for that client for that thing. Now you can see here, for this client, these are the 2 projects that we have available. Now, if I was to choose a different client, right, I get a couple of different projects available to me. So again, being able to make sure that projects only go with particular clients and so forth. Also, instead of an ERP, maybe you have a professional services automation program that is managing this, that's doing your utilization, has your employees, your consultants in, or whatever the case may be. Again, that can be a source from TrueSky. It doesn't just have to be your accounting, your ERP system. But here you can see I can put in different rates for different tasks. Again, this could be tasks per employee, it could be by project, whatever. And now I'm going to go ahead and save that. And again, these numbers are available to ripple throughout the system. Then at some point, what you can do is choose to look at your revenue, right? So I'm going to pick the same client again. I'm going to pick the same client project right here. I'm going to retrieve it. And now this is going to allow me to put in the hours in this example. And what you're going to see here, a little bit different layout. Here I'm putting the hours by task, and I'll put some numbers in over here or what have you. And you'll see automatically, because of the rates that I put in earlier, it is automatically calculating what our revenue is going to be, or our cost, depending on what you're trying to do. We also support the concept to do reforecasting. And again, this isn't just on projects, but also on any kind of revenue capture. We get asked this question a lot. So can we do reforecast? And absolutely, you could do reforecast as often as you like. We have clients that are reforecasting their numbers on a monthly basis, so as the environment changes, as they get more information, they can do all of that kind of thing. So here you're seeing, in this example, I am showing what my original numbers were. And then as a user, I can come over here and I can adjust as needed. So again, that concept of being able to handle reforecasting and seeing where you're going to end up. And at the end of the day, we will give you all the kind of reporting and summary information that you need, including being able to do things like dashboarding. So what I'm going to show you here is a little bit of a kind of a revenue type dashboard. I'll show you some different things. And again, these can all be configured based on what you need them to be here. And I'm going to generate this in real time here. So again, you can choose to slice and dice, pick what budget year you want to compare it to, compare what actuals, again, do you want to do it by product line, by customer, what have you? Again, all completely up to you. So here's an example of what I've got in this. And again, all these can be tailored to whatever you need them to be. Who are my top 5 customers right now? Who are my underperforming salespeople? Based on sales versus quota, right? Who do I need to have a little chat with, maybe put on a plan? Product sales by color, whatever it is. Even things like being able to look at data on a map. These are unit sales by city in this example. So again, with TrueSky, you get data capture, you get analytics, you get reporting, and you get dashboarding, all within one application. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a wrap up, and then we will open it up for any kind of questions that you have. All right, and you can start submitting them now in the either the question box or the chat box right there, but the question box probably best. So what does TrueSky bring? Well, really it brings the best of both worlds. You get all the strengths of Excel. Its flexibility, the fact that you can model any process, that powerful calculation capability, a rich presentation layer, and a lot of user adoption that goes very quickly. You're also going to get added control. You're going to get a database-driven application. You're going to get workflow. You're going to get approvals. You're going to get security, audit trails. You're going to get those productivity tools that I showed you. You're going to get direct integration to source data and our build once designed to help reduce all of your maintenance. And at the end of the day, TrueSky provides you with an enterprise solution. One version of the truth, centralized control. You're going to get actionable information, reduce risk that are going to help you avoid surprises. So at the end of the day, you're going to benefit from the power of Excel, reduced administrative costs, integration to source data, meaningful information, and you're going to give up that painful merge process, juggling all those different spreadsheets, the manual manipulation of that source data, and all those unwanted surprises. So with that, before you drop off, I'm going to say thank you very much for taking time out of the day to attend our presentation. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the GoToWebinar question box. If you leave, please take a moment to update our survey. It just helps us out. And with that, I will open up for questions, but thanks a lot for your time and have a great day.